Tonight, News Channel 5 continues to track your money and the hundreds of millions of dollars being spent in response to the COVID-19 crisis. Some of you wanted to know how much the state is spending on advertising to try to convince Tennesseans to wear masks. News Channel 5 Chief Investigative Reporter Phil Williams is still on the case. Phil.
Well, Vicki, it turns out it's millions of dollars, but some critics question whether it's money that's being wasted as long as the governor continues to undercut that message with his own behavior.
This is the face of a fighter.
I'm fighting to keep Tennesseans working.
It's just one part of the state of Tennessee's response.
I'm fighting to see my students back in the classroom.
To the ever-growing COVID crisis on television, on social media, and on the highways. The cost so far to taxpayers, $4.3 million.
Because that's the best way to mitigate the spread of the virus, and Tennesseans should take personal responsibility for that.
But despite the use of taxpayer money for that message, Tennessee Governor Bill Lee doesn't always practice what the state preaches. When he and his wife attended the Republican National Convention at the White House, we spotted them right in the middle of the crowd of 1,500 people not wearing masks.
Why should people do what you say rather than what you did?
Yeah, I think that what I did was look at the situation we were in and make a decision based on whether or not those seats were distanced, the wind was blowing us outdoors. I have that decision to make, every one of us do.
Later, social media photos showed him packed into a boat with other Republicans with not a mask in sight. He also posed maskless with a Nashville restaurant owner right under signs saying face mask required and maintain 6 feet distance.
Do you have any regrets? Do you think you could do a better job of modeling what you say is good behavior?
You know, I think I do model that. I feel safe, and when I don't, I wear a mask. As you probably heard, Maria and I were in contact with someone who tested positive for COVID in our details, so we are home.
After word broke Wednesday about the governor possibly being exposed to COVID, a new photo emerged of him the day before with other Republican politicians. Again, Lee wasn't wearing a mask.
If the governor is going to say that masks are important and should be worn, then he should demonstrate that at all times and lead by example.
Democrat John Ray Clemens says the governor needs to follow his own administration's advice.
And the governor's refusal to wear a mask at political events just shows his political calculations and his selfishness and unwillingness to protect those with whom he comes into contact.
Until there's a vaccine for COVID-19, this is the face of a fighter. Face it, masks fight COVID-19.
Now, that $4.3 million the state says was what was committed through October the 2nd. With COVID-19 still threatening so many of our citizens, the state says it plans to continue the push to push that important message about face masks at least through the end of the year.
All right, thanks so much, Phil.